Hey casters and reloaders, thanks for joining. This little short video is going to be a VR in regards of my last video for Matt Woosley. He mentioned on the comments below some good suggestions of to kind of look for what happened on a cartridge that has a fail to fire. And in that video I had a fail to fire on the 30-06 when I was doing some cast lead powder coated testing at 14 grains. So I went ahead and demilled it according to what he was telling me to do. So the first thing I did was, of course, pull the bullet, and I just used a couple side dikes just to pull it, looking for any kind of, if the bullet was oversized or whatnot. And it seems to be pretty fine. I mic'd it out, and it ended up being exactly 309. 308 on the micrometer. So see there. So there's no signs of it being oversized on this bullet since we're using cast lead. Another thing I did was check the seating depth on the primer itself, and according to the caliper, it was seated at 0.008 below the cartridge head stamp. So that to me is, I think, not too far down. And comparing it to the other cartridges, I'll show you here, should be it's really hard to keep it sturdy and on video, but you can see there 0.005 on that cartridge. So that's about the same. And the next thing I checked out after that was the powder itself, looking for any kind of unburnt granules, and I don't see anything that stands out there. It looks all normal, and this is all 14 grains of HP 38. Nothing that's been burnt there. After that, we went ahead and inspected the primer itself, and you can see there that it still looks pretty bright for the large rifle primer CCI. There is nothing that's showing any kind of burning effect at all. You can see that the primer was struck, and the anvil looks pretty set in stone where it needs to be. So nothing out of the ordinary there that I could see. Alright, well, looking down into the case to see if there's any signs of like a burr or the flash hole was blocked. That looked pretty normal. See, I don't clean my primer pockets, which I probably should start doing, but I think when I get a stainless steel media, I'll start doing that, letting it do its job there. But other than that, the case looks pretty fine. I mean, there's nothing out of the ordinary there that I could see. So at this point, I think it'd be safe to say that I'm going to try loading this primer onto another case, blank, no powder or bullet, and try to see if I'll set it off. Trying to, striking the primer again with the rifle. So let me get set up real quick, and I'm going to load this case right here. And this is a different kind of case. It's not the Winchester. And we're going to see if the primer will go off on that one. Be right back. So I prime on the press, and like I said, I just pick them up off the table, put them onto the primer pusher, and go ahead and prime. So we're going to take this spent 30-06 case, and we're just going to prime it as normal. Get in there, okay. And that seems to be pretty flush. So now we're going to go ahead and load it up on the rifle, point it on a safe direction, and of course safety first. I'm going to wear some ear protection and eyeglasses. Again, like I said, you never know what will happen. Always have some safety gear on. Alright, so we're going to load this cartridge up. My neighbors are pretty used to me setting off fireworks, so any of this loud popping noise isn't really out of the ordinary. Hopefully to them. But let's go ahead and load this up, and I've got my safety glasses on and hearing protection, and we're going to see if this thing goes off. Alright, here we go. Dud. Alright, well, be safe to say that the primer is an issue. Well, Matt, I think this is a great suggestion that you set forth for those who are looking to see why their cartridge did not fire, if there's any reloading mistakes on their part. For me, I don't know. Like I said, I may have gotten just a bad batch of CCI large rifle primers. I wouldn't say that CCIs are bad or anything. It just, in my experience so far with using small rifle primers and a small pistol primer, I've gotten 3 fail to fire, though I haven't went in depth with trying to figure out what happened until today. So I wouldn't say that CCIs are bad. I usually, like I said, I usually use Remington 6.5s. I just find it to be a little bit more, I say, giving me better chrono numbers. But other than that, you can see, like I said, this primer was struck pretty hard, and I was a little hesitant at taking the cartridge out right away, but I figured that this was struck 4 times at least. So I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna go ahead and demill this thing, dispose of this primer properly. I'm just probably gonna heat up with a torch, get rid of any other explosive substance that could possibly be rendered inside there. But for now, later on the next video, I went ahead and I casted more 153 grain spiral points, and I used a different alloy this time because we found out that the last 2 times of me testing this bullet, the alloy on that one was only a 10.6 BHN. Now I did these yesterday and I heat treated them. So these are 153 grain mold, which are dropping out 154 for me with my alloy. I heat treated these, and after powder coating, this is at a 20 BHN. So give it about 3 to 7 days, it should age, and I should be looking around 22 BHN. And that should be able to give us, be able to let us load up a higher velocity on the HP38. And I'm going to start out at 15 grains, and I'm going to end at 18 grains before switching into H4198. Like I said, I'm just not sure if I'm going to be able to get to 2000 FPS, but we'll see. And I just don't want to get into leading since we're doing 2 load developments at the same time. I don't want to be able to. I don't want to be scrubbing my barrel out. But other than that, I casted those, and after we get into H4198, I'm going to start testing out some of these. These are the 230 grain Lee missiles. Tumbler loop design, no gas check, and we're going to be doing our own missile testing. So we'll see what H4198 does, and if HP38 could get us to at least 2000 FPS. Other than that, guys, I really appreciate you watching. Stay tuned, and I'll catch you on the next video.